That's the worst sight I've ever seen in my life.
Grief is a process. Denial, anger, depression. For James Ford, that process started the morning of March 10th.
We was together about 11 years, and I found her dead in the bedroom back there.
At 57 years old, his girlfriend Janet had died. But from what? He didn't know. More than 9 weeks later, he still doesn't know.
And they want to do an autopsy.
If we don't know the cause of death, or we have a problem figuring it out, or if it's a suspicious or violent death, the medical examiner will do an autopsy to help us determine it.
Up until October of last year, autopsies could be done locally at the GBI Crime Lab on Finney Road in Augusta. But after Augusta's medical examiner retired, the Augusta position has not been filled. Now all those loved ones are sent 140 miles away to the GBI headquarters in Atlanta to get the answers they need.
You know, it's putting a big burden on the family to start their grieving and closure process.
Mark Bowen is the coroner in Richmond County. He says the trip to Atlanta causes a painful waiting game.
You got 16 to 20 weeks that this family's having to wait to get a death certificate to take care of any financial needs, start their closure process of knowing what happened to their loved one, and moving on with their life.
If the weight of a death isn't heavy enough, as Ford tries to close this chapter, he's forced to open up his wallet to take care of all his girlfriend's expenses, including the $12,000 funeral for the woman he loved.
The insurance company won't pay the funeral home for the funeral. I can't pay her bills off without a death certificate.
Bowen says those necessary answers and the documents that come with it would come faster with a medical examiner in Augusta, instead of trying to solve a mystery cities apart.
We try to communicate by phone and photos, computer, whatever we can do. But it's not like being there talking to the medical examiner himself.
Besides the burden on the family, sending bodies to Atlanta is becoming a burden to the taxpayer.
Somewhere around $250 per trip.
Round trip?
One way.
With 50 bodies already transported this year, that's more than $12,000 so far this year. But the GBI says they're not to blame.
Often, GBI medical examiners or the crime laboratory will be blamed by a local agency or coroner or prosecutor or whatever about delays in a case. Statistically, that is not the case. We do the vast majority of our work within 90 days.
Out of the small pool of qualified applicants to be a medical examiner, 4 have been interviewed. 0 have accepted the Augusta position.
Here's the thing. We've done everything that we can to get a medical examiner in that office.
Even though the GBI does autopsies for 152 of the 159 Georgia counties, they say their backlog is amongst the lowest it's ever been, and they've advertised for the Augusta position.
We have found qualified and credentialed applicants, but they all prefer to live in the metropolitan Atlanta area.
For answers and for closure.
You keep thinking about it every day, and you're waiting on those people to do what they got to do. You can't get it off your mind.